Hello, good morning, everybody. So today, let's finish EM. I will try my best to finish EM discussion. So if there are any questions that you would like to ask, we can focus on that first. Otherwise, we will continue from where we left off yesterday. So does anyone wants to ask anything? All right, so let me share my screen. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing the convergence issues of EM. Okay, so convergence. And then what we did, so we have understood the E and M step in a way that as an analogy to GMM, we have understood how the E step and M step might come. But what is required is we need to show that these steps actually result in improvement. Okay, so that is why we have to discuss these convergence issues. Only then will we truly be convinced that this is a good algorithm to use in practice. Okay, so what we realize is that if you look at what we need to maximize, it is this, right? So for every iteration, there is some particular value of theta, and we need to keep improving this over iteration to iteration, and X is the observed set of samples. All right, and then using simple application of Bayes rule, we realize that this is equal to this particular thing. Okay, yeah. So minus ln p of z given x theta. But what is this z, right? Z could, we don't know z, we have not observed z. So, but luckily for us, this Bayes rule holds for all z. Okay, so you can consider any z you like. So then what we realize is that if you have some z like this, right? So, this z can be thought of as for every I. So there is Z1, Z2. Okay. So you have Zn. Each of the Zi's, so this could be Z11 could be 1, or you can have Z12 equal to 1. Okay. So one of these can be 1, right? So this is how these Zij's will come. So this is Z1J. So in general, we have Zij. This is what is random. This is random. This is the random variable. Okay, and for a particular value that Zi takes, the inner term is a function of theta, and that is a constant. It's a function, right? It's a constant thing. So X is given, and Z for that inner term. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if I look at particular value of Z, okay, so that is fixed, and you will get a constant here. But if I try to take an expectation, which is the next step, okay, so we have expected value of QZ, where QZ is governing the distribution of Z. So QZ is the randomness, which is quantified by QZ. And what you have is this. So now what I'm saying is, if you look at this term over here, so this is going to be summation over I equal to 1 to n. This is for the, so this I'm writing this particular term. Okay, so this one is the summation over I, summation over j equal to 1 to n. So here, instead of having Zij's as directly, since we don't know directly, we are doing soft assignment. Okay, so this is where we will say, this is the part where the probability actually comes. Okay, and then what you're associated with is a term like this, P x is given to you, and Z xi is given to you, and Zi is equal to j. So this is also fixed. Okay, so this entire term, given particular value of xi and particular value of zi, this is a function in theta, but it is not random. What is random is this. So what I'm trying to say is something like this. Okay, so if you look at expected value of some function g of z, okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to take z belonging to some range, right? Something like this. You will do pz it's the probability that Z takes a particular value, say PZI. Okay, and then we have G of I. Okay, so what is this doing? So here G of I, given a particular value of I, this is going to be a constant. Okay, what is changing is the probability. Okay, so this is what is the probabilistic thing, that is actually what you are averaging over. So in the same manner, Pzi j equal to 1, this is what changes, and that is governed by Qz. Okay, so just I'm trying to explain this because this is a difficult issue. Okay, so any case, so this is what we were discussing, and then we did a small algebra. What we did was we rewrote our expression in this manner. We divided, I should write a little carefully. So we wrote this in this way. Okay, so this was the step that we did yesterday, and then what we observed is this term, the second term on the right hand side, this particular term here, this is actually denoted as KL divergence. KL divergence between Q and P of Z given X theta. This is called as a KL divergence. Okay, so this represents the how far Q and P, the two distributions, are from each other. Okay, so this is like and it's analogous to a distance. Okay, it's not exactly distance, but it is, you can think of it as approximately like a distance, and it satisfies two properties which any distance should do, which is KL divergence Q with Q, this is 0, and KL divergence with Q and P, this is going to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so this we saw, and to prove this, we saw what is called as Jensen's inequality. Okay. So this is where we stopped yesterday. Now, what I will do before actually continuing in trying to prove the convergence of this, I thought I will give an example. Okay, so that you have seen one example already, which is the Gaussian mixture model. Let us now take another example. Okay. So the example is as follows. So let's before going to convergence, I'm going to show you an example. Okay, and I hope that this example will help you understand each of these steps a little better. So now what you have is two coins. Okay, so there is coin A and there is coin B. Okay. Coin A has unknown bias theta A. Okay, so for example, this could be something like 0.8. Coin B has an unknown bias which is equal to 0.4. So this is, of course, this is unknown. Okay. Now the experiment is as follows. So experiment is as follows. Choose one of the coins, one of A or B, equally likely. Okay, so basically you will do a coin toss, fair coin toss. Okay, and then whichever, if it is heads, then I will choose A. If it is tails, I will choose B. Okay, equally with, let's say, with equal probability, with equal probability. So this is the first thing. Second thing, what I will do is once you have chosen a particular coin, with the chosen coin from previous step. Okay. Step. What will you do? So whatever the coin is chosen, you conduct 10, you toss the coin 10 times. Okay. So this is going to be, this entire thing will be called as XI. So this is one trial. So you repeat this several times, then you will get XI, I equal to 1 to N. Okay. Where in XI, what does XI record? So this is record the number of heads. Okay, so is the experiment clear? So shall we do some experiments with this? So basically, let us try to invoke this. Okay, so yeah. So let me, if this is clear, so let us assume that we do a coin toss. So what is hidden? So first let us ask that. So what is hidden? Can someone tell me what is hidden?
Which of the coin will come?
In the step one, right? So that
In
is
the
what is
step one,
hidden.
yes.
Yes, step one outcome is hidden. Okay, so yeah, so this is what is happening. So what we need to do, so what is the objective? We need to learn theta A and theta B. Okay, so what is the objective? Okay, so this is what we need to do. Okay, so now this is the whole thing. So we have to now see how we can use EM to solve this algorithm. Okay, so
Sir,
yeah.
so we don't know thetas. What you have written there, that was just for example.
No, this is unknown, right? I have written that this is unknown. So I don't know these thetas. What I know is that I'm choosing which one of the two coins with equal probability. That much I know, but I don't know what is the theta that is actually giving these heads. Okay, the second, what is, am I clear? What is, can you repeat what is your question?
Sir, what does theta A equal to 0.8 represent then?
No, this is, I'm saying this is unknown. We don't know this. Okay, suppose I'm just trying to see whenever you are, this is what we need to learn. Okay. How do I
Okay,
say
so
this?
theta not known to us, right?
Yeah, theta is not known to us, but I'm saying this is what we need to get if our algorithm is correct. Okay, if everything is correct and if we do it properly, after the EM converges, we should have a value close to theta A and theta B. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
okay. Okay. Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So now, how do we do this? So that is what is the question. Okay, so let's try to do each of these steps. So first, we have to start with some initial guess. Okay, so this you can choose perfectly randomly. What I will do is I will choose some values like this. Let's say 0.6, theta B 0 is let's say 0.5, something like this. Okay, what you need to be careful, I will actually show and run, I will actually run this in a Python program and you will see how it works, but let's derive first theoretically what the steps should look like. Okay, so this is what this is my initial guess. So this is initialization state. So this has to be chosen randomly, and there is some care that you need to exercise here in order to really do this. Okay, so this is the random initialization. Now, the main. So loop till convergence, right? Loop till convergence. Now, what we have to do, we have to first find out what is QZ. Okay, so Q star Z, right? That is what is our EM step, if you remember. This we said is equal to P of Z given X and my current guess of theta, right? This is what I said is our initial guess. So now first we have to see how the X looks, right? So for the X, let us say our outcomes are, so X I have not given you. So let's say I do this 5 times as an example. Okay, so I will get something like this, right? So first time when I do, I may get 5 heads, 5 tails, 4 heads, 6 tails, okay, 8 heads, 2 tails, 7 heads, 3 tails, okay, 5, maybe another 2 heads, 8 tails, something like this we will get. Okay, so this is my X1. x2, x3, x4, x5. Okay, so this is what is the data that you have given. What we see is basically only we are storing the heads. Okay, this is nothing but like 10 minus. So there are totally I said 10 tosses. Remember, so this the number of tails I can get by doing 10 minus 5. So this is where I get this. All right. So now we have to find out each of these points. What is the probability? So this is what it is. So that boils down to, we need to ask what is gamma ij, which is probability that the ith point is assigned to the jth thing. Okay, and j will be either A or B. Okay, so that is what we need to assign, and that is given by this particular formula. So let us try to answer this. Okay, so gamma IA 1A, let us first try to do gamma 1A. Okay, so gamma 1A is probability that Z1 is equal to A given X. Okay, X is a collection of all these elements, but for the particular estimate for looking at Z1, none of these things really matter. Okay, because they are not going to affect like the allocation here, right? So we will look at only x1 equal to 5 and theta t being we are starting from 0. So that is what we are doing right now. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So now how do we solve this? So can someone help me? Next step, what do we need to do? I want all of you to think. Okay, yeah, please tell.
So it is the probability that the coin A gets 5 heads. So it should be.
Yeah, it's a probability that coin A gets 5 heads. Okay, so can you expand? What do I write next? Yeah, please.
Yes, sir. So it should be, I think, theta A to the power 5.
No. Before that, you need to write the next step. What is it in terms of probability language? How do I write? So what is this equal to?
So probability that Z1 equal to A and X1 equal to 5 given theta 0.
Yeah. So Nidish
divided by.
Yeah, Nidish. I mean, I know this. Nidish spoke previously. So you may be telling me the direct answer, but I want class also to follow. So we need to explain more. Yeah, please go ahead. Whoever was speaking, what is divided by?
Divided by x1 equal to 5 given theta 0.
Yeah. Okay. This is just base rule. Okay. So now we know all of this. So what is so this? How do we write this? So that we can do now. So this is now again we have to apply P of Z1 equal to A into P of X1 equal to 5 given Z1 equal to A. Okay. So I'm not writing given theta 0 everywhere. It is there. Okay. Let me write it. Otherwise, you'll get confused. So this is Z1 equal to A given theta 0. Okay. Into probability that x1 equal to 5 given z1 equal to a comma theta 0. Okay. And then this whole thing I have to sum over two things. Okay, so there is two things. First one is exactly this. Nidish, can you continue? What I need to write in the denominator? Plus. Anybody?
Plus Z1 equal to B.
And then X1 equal to 5 given Z1 equal to B. Okay. So now what is it saying? So first of all, I know one thing for sure. Okay. If I look at the experiment, okay, I'm choosing each A and B. I know this fact I know. Okay. So P of any Z1 equal to A is equal to P of any Z1 equal to B is equal to 0.5. This I can see, right? Because I'm saying that I know this, that we are choosing this with equal probability. I'm not trying to even learn this. That is not the objective in this experiment. Okay. So this will be 0.5 times. Now I am telling you that I have used coin A. Okay, I'm telling you that I have used coin A, and I'm telling you that it has given 5 heads. So what is the probability of getting that? Can someone tell me? I'm using coin A, okay, and I'm telling you it has given 5 heads, and my current estimate for the coin A's bias is 0.6. So what is the probability of that happening given these parameters?
So it should be 0.6 to the power 5 into
That's all?
into 0.4 to the power of 5.
Okay, okay. I just see Nidish and Rajnish answering, which I am grateful for. But what about others? Are you following along? I don't want to just keep going on and then find out that most of you haven't understood. What is going on? Can I just check if everyone follows? Can you please say yes if it is clear so far? If there is some aspect which is not clear in this experiment, you have to ask me, okay? Many people have not responded. What is going on? Which part is confusing?
Sir, could you please just open the expression, the one
Yeah.
that you wrote last?
Yes, what is confusing here, Divyan?
So the screen hasn't changed.
It still hasn't changed. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
No, sir. I also cannot see.
Okay, let me just stop share and start again. 1 second. Okay, let me turn off my video. Probably that will help the bandwidth. Okay, how about now? Hello, Devyani, can you see?
So the screen hasn't come up yet.
Now you see?
Yes, sir. It will.
Okay, so now ask me what you were asking.
So I just wanted to see the last expression. I don't think I have a doubt in it, but I hadn't seen it properly.
Okay, so this is basically what I'm saying is the first trial, I got 5 heads, assuming that the coin came from A. The coin chosen was A. So I'm asking what's the probability, and the current estimate for theta A is 0.6. So since I've got 5 heads, this is going to be 0.6 to the power of 5 into 1 minus 0.6 to the power of 5, right? That is what is this term divided by, so there are 2 terms here, 0.5 into 0.6 to the power of 5 into 1 minus 0.6 to the power of 5 plus 0.5 into what is this 0. Now the for the other coin B, I have assumed that the bias is 0.5. Okay, so that's going to be 0.5 to the power of 5 into 0.5 to the power of 5. So does everybody understand this step?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be into 10C5 as well? It's 0.6 raised to power 5 into 0.4 raised to power 5 into 10C5.
No, that is if you are asking. Okay, so that. Okay, so let me try to explain what's going on there. So 5 heads. Okay, so that's a good question actually, because if that is happening, you should have 10C5, you're saying. That is, yeah, that is actually correct. So let's do one thing in order to make our lives a little easier. Okay. So let us try to, so then there is a, yeah, you're right actually. So there is going to be NC5, N5, okay, in each of these terms.
Sir, doesn't it depend on how we define this random variable X? If we are just counting the number of heads, then 5 heads and 5 tails, then the order doesn't matter.
Yeah, no,
What
if you are if you are giving a particular sequence, suppose let's say this sequence was head, tail, tail, head, 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 tail, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, tail, 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 okay, so this will be 10. So this way, if I give you a particular sequence, then what I wrote is correct. But if I'm just counting the number of heads without looking at a particular sequence, then there will be a NC5 terms associated with each of these probability. That is correct, because it's a binomial random variable. Okay. So this is what is happening. You see, if you ask good questions, it really is useful. So this is actually correct what he said, but it doesn't impact our analysis, because NC5 appears, sorry, N10 C5, 10, 5 appears everywhere. So all of them gets cancelled. Okay. So any case, that's a good point. So if you look at a particular sequence, if you record a particular sequence, then yes, then the whatever I wrote is correct. Okay. So yeah. Okay, good. So any case, so this way we can estimate gamma 1a, and gamma 1b will be 1 minus gamma 1a. So like that, we can estimate for each of this, we can estimate two parameters, which is gamma 1a, gamma 1b, gamma 2a, gamma 2b, okay, and like that, gamma 5a and gamma 5b. So this is going to be our E step. Okay, this is the E step. So now, coming to the M step, what we need to do is we need to find out theta t plus 1. The next estimate should be argmax over all possible theta of this expression q theta and theta t. Okay, this, if you remember, this expression is given by argmax, expected value of q star of z ln pxz given theta. So this is what we need to maximize to get the next step. All right. So now, if you do the algebra properly, what you will get is theta a to the power of t plus 1 is going to be gamma I a equal to 1 to n, gamma I a of xi, the number of heads, divided by, okay, I equal to 1 to n, gamma ia of d. Okay, so let us say if I actually, so this is should be easy to you, because if I knew zij's, if I knew if zij's were known, okay, then what will happen? My estimate of theta a would be, okay, whichever times I have ZIA, like how many over is actually coming from coin A, that many coin tosses, okay, that many heads divided by total coin tosses under A. Right? This is what it would have been. What is this? Total coin tosses is D. D is equal to 10. Okay, so let me write this somewhere. So D is equal to 10, which is total tosses. Okay, so this into 10. So this is what it would have been. But since I don't know these ZIJ's hard assignments, I don't know, I'm doing a soft assignment. That is why this is the update. So likewise, theta b of t plus 1, okay, is going to be I to n gamma ib xi divided by where d is 10. So this way I can keep iterating between the two steps and see where it converges to. So is this clear? Are the steps clear to people? Yes. Okay, so let me just start asking, because nobody is speaking. So Manu, is it clear? Viranch? You can type in the chat if you are in a noisy background or something. What's going on? Can I hear something from someone? Devyani, what is going on? Am I audible? What's going on? Are you following this discussion?
Yes, sir, you're audible. Yes, sir.
You have any questions?
No, sir, I was just reviewing what we did. So.
Okay. Siddharth, the two Siddharth. Solanki, do you have any question?
Sir, I was also just looking at what we did. Like,
Okay. Which part are you looking at? So we can go through it together. So let's look at this. So this part is okay, right, Siddharth? This initialization.
Yes, sir. That was okay.
So now coming to once you have initialized, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out the responsibility coefficient. So this gamma ij is also called as responsibility. Okay, so I'm trying to find out what could be responsible for getting these 5 heads, right? So basically, if I have to do this, I need to find out what is the probability that Zi is equal to A given that I have seen 5 heads. Okay, and theta naught is basically assuming that this is the bias of each of these coins. Okay, so now one aspect where I did mistake is I did not account for the fact that if I ask what is the probability of getting 5 heads, okay, so if I ask what is the probability of getting x equal to 5, given that the bias of the coin is P, this is actually a binomial distribution. Okay, I did not account for that and I did some mistake there. So, but there is no problem because the binomial and the regular thing, whatever I wrote, there is only a difference of constant. So basically, this is Siddharth, did this confuse you? There is 10c5.
No, sir. No, sir. That was clear.
Yeah. So I don't want to hide my mistakes. So if someone genuine points out a mistake, then we will all admit it. We are all humans, we'll make mistakes. So that is okay. I hope everyone doesn't lose entire faith because I made a silly mistake. Okay, but that's okay. So then basically I'm just computing this. Okay, so this is very much like your posterior calculation, right? So if you look at our posterior when we had done earlier, it is pi1 p1 divided by pi1 p1 plus pi2 p2, right? It's exactly like that. So that's what we have done here. So this is like pi1, this is like your like p1, and then this is what we did. And when you simplify, you will get a number for each of these parameters. Is that okay so far, Siddharth?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so then let me pick somebody else. I don't want to keep bothering him. Nidish, if you can take over from Siddharth. Do you follow the discussion so far?
So actually, if I neglect the kind of the Bayes rule, I follow the discussion. So because like I have a doubt in the Bayes rule, so I don't understand how this rule is coming. Because
so Bayes rule, yeah, you tell me. We can probably have a small discussion on Bayes rule. What is the exact thing you don't understand? What's the Bayes rule?
So actually, suppose the Bayes rule, suppose it is like P of X given Z, then this Bayes rule I understood that it would be like P of Z into P of X, and upon P of Z. So but if there are like 3 variables, then I'm getting a bit of confused.
Z1, Z2, right? This is what you're saying. So this the same. You pretend that Z2 even doesn't even appear. Okay, you can do like this. You pretend that Z2 is not even there, and you write as though you are writing the previous thing. Is that okay? At least in a thumb rule kind of way, do you follow this? This we can do.
Yes, sir. As a formula, yes, sir, I can follow it.
Yeah, as a formula, yes. Very important that you need to understand the significance also. Okay, so let me try to basically tell you something about conditioning. See, basically conditioning is also a probability. So what you have originally, if you remember your probability class, there is a sample space. Okay, this is called as omega, and all your probability is defined with respect to that. So what we say, this is your omega. then you have a rule which says that probability of A is greater than or equal to 0 for all A, okay, which is a event. Okay, whenever you ask what is the probability, this has to be between 0 and 1. This is one rule. The second rule that we have is P of A complement, okay, is 1 minus P of A. These things are fundamental things. This you shouldn't have any problems, right? This is okay with you, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I equal to 1 to n. If there are disjoint, okay, you will get this as P of AI. So I equal to 1 to n. So basically this third rule is saying if you have disjoint events A1, A2, the total probability of this happening, so I should be careful here. Probability of the union of either of this happening is summation. These three should be okay, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So now what conditioning is doing, okay. Conditioning is changing your, this is called as universe. This is universe, right? This is where our focus is. So it is, it's called as omega, capital omega, okay? So you're changing the universe to a conditional universe. So here, for example, this could be like y is equal to 1. I'm looking at the universe where y is 1, okay? That is where I'm focusing my attention. And again, I have this entire space, okay? So this space also has the probability, all the rules will hold. So what I mean to say is P of A given y equal to 1 is greater than or equal to 0. You will have P of A complement given y equal to 1 is equal to 1 minus P of A given y equal to 1. So this is whatever you understand about probability holds even for this changed universe. Okay, so this is, sorry, I have to write that y equal to 1 everywhere. See, it's just cumbersome, but the whole thing is anyway true. Nothing changes. Okay. Nidish, does this help you in better visualizing this?
So kind of.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is if you can condition on this, you can condition on this as well. So now I can further condition and I can have another conditioning, okay, where I'm going to do y equal to 1 as well as z equal to 1. So that could be some region here. So this is the region where z is equal to 1. I take this itself as my world next. Okay, and then again I will ask the same type of things. Okay, so that way conditioning works. So basically whatever you can understand on the like the full omega is also true with respect to Z2. Whatever rules apply here also applies here. Okay, so the way to understand the conditioning is to understand what is the meaning of this formula itself. So conditioning, so let us take an example, okay, conditioning. So if I ask, okay, what is the probability, let's take some non-controversial example, okay. So what is the probability that somebody is colorblind given that the person is a male? Okay, so there is a tendency that colorblind males have more colorblind. That is just how biology is. So what I will do is, if I have to do this, right? So what will I do? So suppose I do a sample. So there are 100 people in a class. Okay, and in 100 people, let us say there are 50 males and 50 females. Okay, so this is males and 50 females. Okay, and in the males, there are 10 colorblind and 40 normal vision. And in females, there is 1 colorblind and 49 normal. So this is colorblind. Okay, this is normal, this is normal, this is colorblind. Okay, so what do I do if I have, Nidish, if I ask, if based on this sample, what your answer will be? What is the probability that somebody is colorblind given that he is male? What will you do?
So it would be that the probability of colorblind and
no, don't use the formula. You look at
okay,
this
sir.
example.
Okay, sir. So it should be 40 upon 50.
40 colorblind.
Sorry,
So
10 upon 50. Yeah.
Right, 10 upon 50. Right. What did you do? You looked at total number of males. Right, and then you looked at males and colorblind. Right. This is what you did.
Yes.
Correct. So that is exactly what we are writing, right? Probability is just a measure of this. So what we are saying is probability that somebody is colorblind and male divided by somebody is male. See, this is exactly same. There is no difference. Do you see that? Counting is the same thing that I'm doing. It's just normalized. Okay, what was unnormalized here? Okay, so it is the same thing that I have written here. Males and colorblind, males and colorblind, males, males. Do you see this, Nidish?
Yes, sir.
Conditioning is not difficult. You have to understand it from first principles. Okay, the first principle is this is coming from real world examples. That is how it is happening. Okay, so what you did when I conditioned on male is you focused only on the male population, which is here, and then that is the total. That is your universe now, and in that universe you asked how many are colorblind. That is this. Okay, so that's essentially what is happening in conditioning. Okay, so I will stop here on this particular topic, but other than that, if you can just for now defer this discussion here, then rest of it should be making sense, right, Nidish?
Yes, sir. Rest of that I could follow, sir.
Okay, so let me then ask somebody else, because I don't want to keep bothering one person. How about someone else would like to continue? What about the M step? Do you follow the M step? So this, anyone wants to ask any question on the M step? So E step is okay with everybody, I hope. Yeah. Is there anyone who has any question on E step? There are a few people who are actually not responding anything. I don't know what's going on. Can someone say if M step is okay, what we did here? Okay. Yeah. All right. So in the M step, we are now, instead of trying to maximize the full likelihood, this is what we would have done if we knew X's and Z's. Okay. This is what we would have directly maximized. Since we don't know that, we are maximizing the expectation with respect to Q star. The Q star is what you computed in this one. And this is actually what is happening. Okay. So basically you are going to do a weighted average as to get an estimate of this. Okay. So are there any questions on the M step? So can I at least ask people to respond in chat? Is it okay so far till the M step? Everything is okay? Is everything clear till the M step? Yes. Rohit of the UG batch, you were asking a lot of questions initially. What's happening? Is this too difficult? Okay, so I am not to hear a lot from people, so I don't know what's going on. All right. A few people have, yeah, Shivam, you are auditing the course, but do you follow this?
Yes, sir.
So the M step is clear to you, these two steps? Can you
Yes,
explain this in your own words?
It is just, I have to review it once again. We are actually maximizing the expectation so that we can maximize the theta to get optimal answer.
Yes, we can maximize this theta is what we are doing. And what is the intuition? How do you intuitively understand this? Can you say in your own words? Okay, so yeah, all right. So okay, so Anushri has a question, so let me try to answer her. So basically, okay, so what we are doing in the M step is we look at the total likelihood like this. Okay, so this is going to be, if we want to write the M step in detail, there will be summation over I equal to 1 to n. Okay, summation over j equal to 1 to n. Okay, then there will be gamma ij, which is the probability that ith point comes from the jth coin. Okay, so j is not equal to 1 to n. I should say A or B. Then I will write this ln p of x xi zi equal to j, okay, given theta. So this is what this is, right? So now, yeah, so this is what it is. So if so this particular term, okay, so if I do the complete thing, xi can be either 0 or 1, okay. So if it is 0, so this is okay, so I have to be a little careful here. There will be one more summation, okay. So the summation is whether xi is head or tail. So there will be another summation here. Okay, k is equal to heads or tails. Okay, and this will be zi equal to k. Okay, so this is the total expression. Essentially what it happens is you will have gamma ij into theta to the power of xi, okay, theta j to the power of xi into 1 minus theta j to the power of 10 minus xi. So you will have terms like this. The ln of this is what we are taking. Okay, and then when you do the algebra properly, you will get something like this. Okay, so this you try to do it at home. So you have to do it little carefully. Okay, so you try to do it at home, you will get this. So Anushri, if you knew the z's, this is okay, right? This much you follow, right? You can reply in chat, but can you understand this? If I knew each of the coin, whether it was head or tail, this is okay, right? I'm basically counting the total number of heads. What? Yeah. So this is, instead of Zij, which was hard assignment, I have replaced it by gamma Ia. This is like the probability. Okay. So you can try it out. You write it out as fully as your expression, and then you will get this. Any case, let's look at the code. I will explain the code now. So what you have is two coins, which are TA and TB. Okay. I am doing 10 coin tosses. So this is
So could you increase the font size a bit?
yeah. Okay, so this is my bias. What is the, yeah, this I think, yeah. Bias of coin A. Okay. So this is my bias of coin A. This is bias of coin B. Okay, and this is the number of tosses I will do, and this is the total number of samples. Okay, this is total samples. So what am I doing? So this is the hidden variable Z. This is either going to be A or B. Okay, I am assuming that A is 0. Okay, so let us say hidden. If it is coming from A, then it is 0. Okay, B means it is 1. Okay, so that's how I'm keeping these sets. This is a hidden thing. I will not use it, but I've just stored it for our reference. Okay, and XS will count number of heads. Right. So basically what I'm doing is I'm constructing x1 to x100 or xn. I can change this as I wish. And first I will do a coin toss if it is equal probability, right? So uniform will be between 0 to 0.5 with probability half, and beyond 0.5 it will be with probability half. If it is in the lower half, then I will choose the first coin and I will repeat 10 coin tosses or D coin tosses. Okay, with the coin B. This will tell me a total number of heads. Otherwise I will do this with total number of tails. Okay, now, so this is what we have. Okay, now I will forget Z's. I don't care about that anymore. Okay, and I will only look at X's and try to estimate this TA and TP. Okay, so I will start with some estimates which are like this. This you can choose randomly. Okay, I have chosen this, but you can choose randomly from what is a good distribution to choose A and B. Can someone tell me? Yes. What's a good distribution to choose A and B randomly? Anybody? You can type in the chat as well. So a good distribution is beta. You can choose from a beta distribution, okay, or a uniform distribution if you wish. So this current estimates, I can choose either this, or I can choose beta or uniform. Either choices are also okay. So I do this, and then instead of repeat till convergence, I will repeat for a fixed number. Okay, so this is instead of checking for convergence. Okay, now I will start with some gamma IA, gamma IB, which is I'll keep a array of these things. Okay, so I will keep track of all the gamma IJs at every step. I don't have to do this, but I have simply done this. I can keep only 2 values with and current values is enough, but I have kept the whole historic values. And then this is what I have done. So there is the n choose xi that is not there, but anyway that gets cancelled. So this is your gamma ij computation. Okay, and gamma IB is 1 minus gamma IA. So this entire thing is my E step. So let me write that. E step starts. E step ends. M step starts. Okay. And M step ends. So you can check, I will share this code with you later, but you can check that this is what we discussed in the class, and then I keep running it for 1000 rounds, and I will print what estimate I got. Okay, so what I need is 0.4, 0.8. If I run this, I will get something like this. Okay, so just to show you that this is not really bogus, if I change this and run, I will get 0.1, 0.8. Okay, so this is how it works. Even without really knowing Zs, we can do quite well. So even if I reduce this a little bit, I should still be okay. Okay, 0.1 roughly. Okay, this is 0.8 roughly. All right. So this is with so many, so less steps we are able to do. I will share this code. You can go through it later. See, I have not written the most efficient code. I wrote it yesterday in the middle of the night, but you can write better code so that it runs faster. But the point is, it really does work. Okay. So what I will do is I will give you a flavor of the assignment that I'm going to ask you to do in the next assignment. Okay. So there will be an assignment I will release during the weekend. So basically, what we have is a database of handwritten letters, which are called as MNIST handwritten letters, handwritten digits. I think they are very small 10 cross 10 images. So basically you have a square, I think 10 cross 10 or 20 cross 20. Okay, just assume that this is the right size. Okay, and suppose the one digit 1 will be like this, right? Yeah, so these are the pixels that will be 1, and these are all will be 0. Okay, so what I will ask you to do is, there is basically a labeled data set is there. Okay, what you are going to do is, you are going to assume, you are going to collect a bunch of these data and you are going to put it together in a big file. You are going to assume that there are k equal to 10 digits. Okay, so the digits are actually 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, each digit you will assume that comes with the same probability. Pi I is equal to 0.1. Okay, and then given a particular digit, okay, there are going to be, so assume that there are n cross n. So you are going to assume that there are, every xi will be n square n square Bernoulli things. Okay, so there will be n square Bernoulli coins. Okay, so each n square will have some probability. For example, okay, if zi is equal to 1, that means the digit is actually 1, then what happens? These are going to be probability 0 roughly. They are all going to be 0 because they are mostly not going to be on when the digit is 1, whereas these pixels will be 1. So you will have something like 0, 0, 0 for these three. Then this will be a number close to 1, something like let us say 0.9. It's saying that this pixel is more likely 1, then 0, 0. Then again, you will have more digits like this. Okay. So this is what is the, this is like your theta. This is what you need to estimate. Okay. This is theta 1. So like that you are going to do. Okay. And at the end of it, you are going to cluster. So you are going to group. You are going to take the labeled data set and ignore the labels. Okay, and then you are going to cluster, and then you are going to see if you can look at the clusters and then infer the labels. Okay, this is something like a semi-supervised thing. Okay, so you don't have labels, but still you are able to do, you are able to label them automatically. Okay, so this you can do. I hope roughly you got what you are supposed to do here. Okay, so this is what I will ask you to do at some point. So anyway, so it is kind of similar to this particular example that we discussed in the class. So we have to still see the convergence, and I was hoping that I will finish this today, but I don't think it's going to happen. So for the rest 3 minutes, let me see if there are any questions. Otherwise, tomorrow we will, during the class, we will discuss the convergence proof. As usual, the attendance to that is optional, and I will put the video in YouTube later. Okay, so are there any questions in the discussion today? Do you follow all of these things? Okay, so if that is all right, then I will stop here. So if you have, you can stay back if you have any questions, and I will wait for that. And otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so have a good weekend ahead. All right, thank you.